Hello everybody, welcome back to Tsui no Sora Remake, and today I feel like we're going to be seeing the turning point of the story where Takuji comes and we're going to see how Yasuko reacts in response to it. I really do wonder if Yasuko is kind of going to be like a Kimika, but the only thing is, obviously, she actually engages in the sex that happens in the story, and also, I suppose they are very, very different characters for motives as well, because I mean, Yasuko has more attachment to Zakuro than, I don't know. What's a good comparison? Than, I don't know, Kagami has to Takuji or something like that. Like, the Kagami that Takuji perceives. Like, what I'm trying to say is no attachment whatsoever. I didn't even need that comparison. All I needed to say was just the fact that they have no attachment whatsoever. But anyway, yeah, it's going to be an exciting read. And I'm interested to see how the usage of the Subahibi tracks is going to change. I really, really hope we see the track where we were with Nyarlathotep. And obviously everybody in the human trafficking bidding area got completely killed by the most hilariously vulgar death I think I've ever seen in not only a visual novel, but fiction itself. I mean, I don't think you can make up some of the hilariousness that is seen in that part of the story. So, yeah, let's read. Somebody's not going to school? Oh, God. Yeah, she's probably really, really creeped out. I don't blame her. Good point. I mean, I just find it funny that things like these, they are so ridiculous that if you told anybody near you, well, you'd be sectioned. Well, to be fair, you wouldn't when evidence is found that could possibly prove your witness statement, but yeah. Yeah, I don't blame her. I'm quoting that just because of how badly it ages. That is probably the worst aging thing I have seen so far. Oh, that was not what I was expecting. How does he know? Oh my god, this is the worst thing, because who's going to believe the story of Ayana and her actions that were similar to that of Nyarlathotep? Kuen, the right-hand man of Tadokoro, that's the only person I can think of who would believe it. Yeah, but i.e. Yasuko is in serious shit now. Or Ayana, but Yasuko more likely, because Ayana's not a member of a gang. She just literally hangs around school because she has nothing better to do for the entirety of her day. She didn't know. But people were going to think she did, because what happened when she was there? The family were alive. When she was out, they weren't alive. Who came in the building apart from Ayana? Nobody. Yes, seriously. Yeah. I would think, I don't know, for example, nerve agents or some sort of secret chemical warfare, but yeah, there's a bit of a flaw in that reasoning because she's alive. She does not have a machine gun. Seriously, yeah. I don't think they're going to be alive somehow. Yeah, quite literally. Wait, hang on a second. Yeah. Like his dick. Yeah, that too. I mean, we know that what happened to the two Yakuza members didn't happen to Tadokoro, but still. But I don't understand why they don't have any external wounds. They literally look like they are mummified. Surely that could count as a wound? Well, I don't know. But still. I don't understand. These people should have died from blood loss, surely?
Yeah, そんな話は聞いていないな。とは言っても、俺が知っているのもあくまでも町の噂程度だ。
I'm gonna be honest, I feel like if this is the case, this is a real scientific impossibility. All of his brain going without any traces of evidence of the fact that it has been completely mutilated and erased. So I think if this was the case, rumor would not be going around. But I don't know. That's just my suspicion. Hang on. Yeah, who would? I mean, to be honest, I feel like people would only go to the hospital just for curiosity. And also to get their back on these people. Maybe there's some people that they've been very horrible to who would go to the hospital and just for gratification, if anything, just to think, you've made my life hell and now you're in this position. Fuck you. That's really weird. And it's interesting to think about the fact that Ayana's indoctrinating him with that belief. But the only thing is his brain quite literally has been removed. I don't understand how he's able to. God. Okay, so I don't think all of his brain's gone. That's just ridiculous. But I think a lot of the parts involved in actual human decision and just in general having a conscience and having emotional intelligence, I'd assume those parts are all nullified or reduced in their effectiveness. Nullified. You can tell you can tell I've played Toho 8. Jesus Christ. He was, yeah, he sounded fucking insane. Well, isn't it ironic to think about the fact that now he's insane in a different way? He was insane before because he's ridiculously evil and he's done so many bad things, yet not cared about them at all. And now he's insane because he's deranged. I hope she actually says the story. But why didn't Yasuko die? I don't understand. Yeah, seriously. Fair. I don't either, I don't get that. Yeah, and it's interesting how the rumours have totally circulated, and what surprises me is the fact that they've circulated outside of the school as well. That's not something we really saw in Tsubaki. Apart from obviously Usami and wait, no, it was totally. I forgot about the fact that loads of other schools joined Takuji's cult as well. Yeah, totally. Yeah, fair.
田所組長って海外で裏社会のとてつもない闇を見てきた人間だ。それが発狂するって相当。
Oh yeah, yeah, I agree, yeah. I mean, he literally said he's had to dismember people. I mean, how could you get more terrifying than that? And obviously the scene with Nyarlathotep as well, that's more terrifying than anything he's ever seen before. Even though he's dismembered people. It must, yeah, I can totally see that.
町の不良に至っては世界滅亡が本当に来るんじゃないかって言い出してるやつもいるよ。
So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the people who aren't educated, who are in here, would believe it, but I would be surprised if those who are would believe something like this, but I don't know. Maybe it will happen. Yeah. Funny that she says that. Oh my god. Hmm.
逆にあの場にいただろうお前が平然としていることに驚く。
Yeah, fair. It is reasonable. I mean, Kiyoshi doesn't necessarily say that he agrees on the fact that the world is going to end, but he just says he's scared, and I don't blame him. I mean, well, like he said, if there's something so powerful that has made someone like Tadokoro go insane, how is it the case that you can be assured about what is going to happen in the future, really? She is a bit scared.
ということは、それなり以上にショックがでかいんだな。
She is, yeah.
当たり前だ。本当ならもう学校なんて来たくないぐらいだ。
Fair.
なぜ来る？数日休んだらよかったのでは？
どうだろう。正直これから。
Oh yeah, your life is going to change. Totally change. But why?
だからこそ自分の目で見ておきたいのかもしれない。
よもやまだ気にしているのか。
そもそも私がこの危険な橋を渡ったのは琴美先輩のためだからね。
暁なら大丈夫だ。あいつには水上由紀人がいる。
Fair.
水上由紀人か。どんな人？
もともと野球をやっていたらしい。ガタイはいいし運動神経もかなりいい。そして頭もいいらしい。
Yep.
暁琴美とは幼馴染で互いに気遣っている。何かあればあいつが守ってくれるだろう。
Sowing the seeds of jealousy that will definitely be present more in the ending part of the visual novel, if you ask me.
田所組にもし琴美先輩が拉致られてたとして。
That is actually a good point.
それは無理だろうけど、なんでそんなことに？
そんなことになりかけたんだよ。
Yeah, seriously, if it wasn't for Yasuko, that would have happened.
マジでか？なんで相談してくれなかったんだ？
相談してどうにかなるもんじゃないし。
Reasonable, he would have just... I don't know, if anything, I feel like he probably would have just convinced... Well, then again, I mean... Nothing would have really changed because Yasuko had already made the move to get these people to destroy Ayana and just destroy her amount of human rights, let's say, in making said video.
お前が田所組の事務所に音無彩菜を連れて行ったのはそういう理由があったのか。
そんな理由だね。
全く説明してくれなかったから。
Yeah.
説明したって清にできることなんてねえよ。
You still could have helped her. But then again, I mean, she did solve the situation well by herself. I mean, she was ridiculously brave, and it's just interesting to see how a selfish psychopath could then go out of her way so much for another person. It's just so contradictory to everything we read, especially at the start of the visual novel, and even more so how she manipulated Kiyoshi. It's just so surprising that she's done this, but yeah, it properly shows the power of somebody admiring another, really.
あんな結末になるとは思わなかったけれども。
Yeah, I would have thought that she and Ayana would come out traumatized. Only problem is Ayana is a being beyond your wildest comprehension. And then she still tries to justify that she's human. And the worst thing is, it's actually reasonable justification, but okay.
まだ結末なんかじゃない。
Nothing is over, hell no. Everything ends on the 20th.
コトミ先輩のナイト様とやらを品定めしに行きますかね。
話したことはあるのか。
まあ、コトミ先輩が好きな人だから何度か会っているよ。とは言っても会話は挨拶程度だね。
Yeah. Why are you so interested, huh? Tell me that.
彼がコトミ先輩を守れるほど本当に強い人間か見定めておきたい。
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, so it goes away from jealousy to worrying.
そうすれば少しは安心できるかも。
そうか。
Interesting that Kiyoshi just genuinely doesn't question this. I know. How can you ever be safe? Yeah. Oh yeah, that's the yeah, totally. Yeah, what would you do? No matter who would be involved, everybody would be powerless. And it doesn't even matter if it's another monster. What about if Ayana got involved? What would happen then? No. Oh, here we go. I mean, this is the funny thing about all of the spreading of these rumours. They're totally reasonable. And that's the most deadly thing about them. They're malicious rumours that obviously aren't the most true, but yeah, I mean, people have got the biggest reason to believe them. This is going to be quite fun. Yeah, fair enough. Well, he's still strong. Well, I mean, obviously he's not physically strong, but emotionally he is stronger than anybody in this story, if you ask. No, maybe not Kotomi. Him and Kotomi, they are just genuinely very emotionally strong. I mean, then again, though, I do remember in Kotomi's chapter, she was getting a lot more stressed when it came to the Tsui no Sora and the end of the world. But the only thing is, I mean, it was thanks to Yukito that she wasn't managed. She wouldn't have believed it even if Yukito wasn't there, but she would have probably felt really awful, and she would have felt a lot weaker if it wasn't for him. So I suppose Yukito's stronger, and he could have done this by himself. He could go through this disaster by himself, but Kotomi couldn't have, if you ask me. But then, obviously, with Yukito's help, Kotomi became so strong that she could fix, well, not really fix, but, don't know, accept and understand Yasuko. Yeah. Yeah, and it's interesting that Yasuko can think this. Yeah. Yeah. Really? Is that true? What about nuclear warfare?
まあ6日間で世界を作った神様なら壊すのも6日間ぐらいか
Yeah,
も
but
しれ
God
ない
did.
が
Well, to be fair, you can't necessarily prove that he didn't make the world, but I don't believe it. Doesn't mean it's objective fact, but yeah, for me, this statement is just BS. well, I mean, it's logical, but at the same time, I mean, it's not something I would want to believe as a reflection of what could possibly happen. Oh, isn't that ironic that she thinks this because Ayana does feel like she has the powers of her being like God. But if she's quote-unquote God, why are there multiple of them? How does that work? Yeah. Yeah. I swear in Nyarlathotep, the original story, he had a slumber. No, wait. Yeah, he had a slumber, but he was worshipped 27 centuries before. No, I can't remember if it was a slumber for 27 centuries or if it was that he existed mainly in his prime 27 centuries ago. I don't know, but yeah. Yeah, I remember in the original Nyarlathotep story, it was funny because he was like a pharaoh, and people didn't even know why. They just instinctively felt to worship and bow down, and obviously drown in his superiority. Really. Well, it's realistic, yeah.
まだ何かあるのか
I'm a fucking god.
いいえ、大丈夫です。
Yeah, no, I don't blame her. Yeah, I get that as well. You talk too, well, you hear somebody talking, but you're too immersed in your own thoughts, so, well, they may have talked something, but it's as if they're speaking in another language that you don't speak.
はい、そうします。じゃあ、部活行きます。
What a front. And it's interesting to think about the fact that she properly tests Yukito's emotional intelligence by seeing why the end of the world is occurring. She doesn't necessarily believe it in herself, it's just she's scared. And how is Takuji going to harvest that fear? Because Takuji feels like the delusional messiah who has the answer to questions like these because he is one who has connections with the inconceivable. Blech. Yeah, but what is the difference between these things and God? A god or the god? That's important if you ask me, because there are multiple gods, but is there only one that has created the world? No, he isn't. No, no. But it's interesting to think about the fact that he feels as if he's somebody who's strong, but not well, just that little bit too weak. Yeah. How can any human being? And isn't it ironic to think about the fact that even though this is all the case, when Yasuko was saying that he's a really crappy hero because obviously he doesn't come before she is taken away by Yasuko. Well, yeah, it's just funny that all of these qualities are remaining in him, and yet it doesn't matter which qualities you have, people still make mistakes, and obviously this was a very fatal mistake that he had made. Oh shit. Yeah. No, totally.
ノストラダムスの大予言的なやつですか？もしかして。
That's interesting that even she feels that there's a sense of distance, and it's funny to think about the fact that it's totally two-way, but there will always be a sense of distance between Yasuko and Kotomi because the life she keeps here is so different to the life she lives outside of school as a gang member. Yeah, totally. And she wants honesty, if anything, because let's be honest, she has barely any other people that she can say stuff like this to. It's reasonable.
世界が終わるなら、私はその前に琴美先輩を犯したいです。
Yeah, she wanted her first time with a girl to be someone she would happily do it with. That's interesting. Oh god. Yeah. That's exactly what I was thinking of. Yeah. Yeah. That is interesting. That is interesting how her lovers... Well, not really her love, but her lust, let's say. This isn't really love. But, yeah. How it's developed. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, ironic that she thinks that, yeah. Yeah. But why do you do it when the world ends? Well, before July the 20th, though. That's what I don't really understand. Is there something that made her change her mind? Or maybe she does it on the pretense of the fact that the world is going to end. And she lies about that, but we didn't really see much of that in the H scene, so I don't know. Ah, right. Oh, fuck. So this is when Takuji becomes fucking insane. Right. Here's where shit changes. Okay, this is gonna be nice.
なるほど。教師の頭を貸すの
Well, I was getting straight to the point. Let's go. Right. Yeah, I just kind of wanted to look into something before we go to this. So where would we look? Around episode 10? Hi guys, welcome back to... Shut up. Yeah, exactly, episode 10. I just kind of want to re-experience the conversation here now that we know Yasuko's perspective. I might do it on YouTube, it'll be easier to skip stuff. Okay. Right, I've got to get... Here we are. It's actually really interesting that all of the thoughts here, they properly just evolve into romance with Kotomi. And it's funny to think about the fact that she assesses Yukito's potential to protect her because she does genuinely care about her. But this is the question. Does she care about... Okay. Does she care about Kotomi? Sorry, does she care about... Yeah, does she care about Kotomi or does she care about herself? And is it that she's seeing herself within Kotomi? I.e., is she just doing Kotomi in order to... If she just wanting to care about Kotomi in order to use her own... Well, in order to have a means of outlet for her pain. Yeah, isn't it funny that this is said? Because if you actually realise... Wait, no, hang on a second. She knows that Sakura's a prostitute, doesn't she? No, I think she does, but the only thing is... Well, no, actually, no. I don't think she does. I mean, obviously there's been a lot of rumours about her being a prostitute, but it's never actually known. She's always known as Ozawa's boyfriend, so Kotomi doesn't know the actual reason, and funnily enough, Yasuko wants to put the reason off just so that she doesn't feel concerned. Yeah, isn't it funny to think about the fact that she encourages this jokingly and she just says something to break the ice and break the distance. Yeah, she really tries to break the ice, yeah. Oh my god, this is funny. Yes, it was during club, totally. Oh, she totally distorts the truth. Oh my god. Oh my god, you're fucking lying. Wow. Yeah, and that aged. God, that's hilarious. But isn't it interesting to think about the fact that firstly she encourages her to go with Yukito, if anything, and that, well, because she's worried about her and her safety, so she wants Yukito to, well, she wants her to feel encouraged to go with Yukito so that there is more connection. between them, and so that Yukito can potentially help her if anything happens. Which is ironic because she is the one who puts her in danger in the end. But then, if anything, she just lies completely about the first time we met. Of course that's distance, she's literally lying to her, but it's interesting that this is the case because she's trying to see if Kotomi would be a good person to go with her, because if she remembered her gang-related contexts, would somebody as good of a person as her want to go with Yasuko? So I think she's asking if she would want to, or if she remembers the first time they met, because if she does, then obviously Yasuko will be doubtful about whether the relationship will be able to happen or not. I don't know, that's just what I think. Right, okay, here we go. Let's do this. Yeah, seriously. Yeah.
それではっきりとそいつは滅亡の日を言ったの？
Oh, isn't that really ironic? Because there are so many varied sources that are mentioning the same idea of the fact that the world is going to end on the 20th.
ああ、言った。20日に世界が終わると。
20日に世界が終わるか。
Yeah, me too.
マジでどうなっていいんだかな。田所組長もそんなこと言ってるんでしょ？
ああ、そうだな。
True.
まあ一学生が土地狂ってそんなことを叫んだだけなら問題。
Agreed, yeah, yeah, yeah.
だといいのだが。
Statements in Tsui no Sora that have aged very, very badly.
何その含んだ言い方？
あれが一学生の発言で済ませられるのかな？
Yeah.
少なくとも俺は間宮拓司の言葉にはそれ以上の説得力を感じたが。
Isn't that interesting? Yeah.
説得力？その間宮拓司って何者なの？
実は細かいことは知らない。小沢にいじめられていたらしいが、あまりに目立たないやつだから、
Yeah.
俺もこれまでほとんど情報を持ってなかった。だが、今日見たあいつは。
Well, it doesn't feel like Mamiya Takuji. If anything, it's the total opposite.
あんな強い言葉を聞いたことがない。
Yeah.
誰も
Yeah, it's
あい
insane.
つの演説を止めることができなかった。
Yeah, yeah, that's interesting, yeah.
北高みたいなお坊ちゃまお嬢ちゃましかいない学校だから止める人間がいなかっただけでしょ？
Yeah, they're just sheeps to the teachers.
どうだろうな。俺は正直、田所さんと同じようでないんだが
God. Now Yasuko understands the weight of what he's
田所さんよ
saying.
り恐ろしいと肌で感じた。
田所組長より恐ろしいだ？そりゃあんたが銃口を頭に突き立てられてねえから言えるんだよ。あんな狂犬野郎より恐ろしい学生なんていてたまるかよ。
いや、わかるよ。田所組長と一触即発になった安子なら、そんな言葉を軽々しく聞き逃せないだろうな。確かに、ヤクザとして、暴力の象徴としての田所さんは、間宮拓司なんかと比べ物にはならなかった。
I can still see what Kiyoshi is trying to say. His Takuji's persuasive power was so significant and it was so powerful, and that means that he is on a similar level to Tadokoro, just in terms of how much he can persuade somebody when he's really quite mad.
でも、どうなんだろうな。田所さんの恐ろしさって、
Yeah.
暴力とか、そういうものだけだった。
Yeah, this guy only resorts to logic and words. Even if the logic's twisted, it's still something that is made with reason, like Yasuko was saying, and when she was trying to just give reasoning for why, for example, she may not have been a person involved with Zakudo's death. Like, for example, the two other scholars being there. Yeah, how do you argue with that? There was no logic whatsoever. They operate on totally different sides of the coin. Actually, no, Takuji does use violence, but he uses it a lot less than he does reasoning.
なんだそれ。
田所さんの恐ろしさの代名詞はあの視線が動かない義眼だ。あれが生々しい暴力の
exactly.
見る者に恐怖を与える。だと思っていたんだが、果たしてあの義眼の恐ろしさってそういうものだけだったんだろうかなって。
どういうこと？
あの義眼が持つ独特な雰囲気、人体に対する異質感みたいなもの。
That's
ああいった
interesting.
感じのものを間宮拓司はまとっていたような気がする。
That's interesting. So I suppose he's saying that the glass eye should... It's as if it's something that should never be inside a human. It should never be something that... Well, I don't know, a human being feels. Well, no, a human being should be able to have. So obviously when one does have something like that, it's all the more terrifying.
ああ、いじめられっ子の学生がアジアで人身売買していた人殺しと同じような雰囲気だと、なことあるかよ。
わかるんだ。お前の言う通りなんだよ。
This shows the proper power of Takuji's delusions.
田所さんって香港で化け物と会ってそれで片目を失ったんだろ。間宮拓司にはそういう現世ではありえない異質感がある。
Especially because of the ridiculous personality shift.
そんなもん気のせいだろ。
ああ、そう思う。
It's easy for her to say that with an outsider perspective.
小沢、高島、そして田所組、これらの不気味な死の影が間宮拓司を巨大な得体の知れない恐怖にしてしまっているのだと思う。
He's like a businessman. He's just using it. He's using a situation of terror for his own gain, really. Let's be honest here.
"案外一皮むけばただのイカれた学生であることにみんな気がつくのかもしれない。だが少なくともあの場にいた人間が
Yeah, totally fair.
心の奥底からそう思えることはないと思う。間宮拓司には得体の知れない不気味さがある。そう誰しもが思った。
Yeah, that is fair.
なるほど。どちらにしても相当ヤバいオーラがあるって感じなのね。
ああ、お前がよく言うオーラってやつだな。ただ覇気とかそういうものとは違う。もっとねっとりと肌に絡みつくような独特な空気感だ。
一学生が田所組長と同レベルとか考えづらいのだけど。
No, totally.
分かった。仲間数人集めてその間宮拓司ってやつのからさらを。
Ooh, interesting.
なぜだ。
どうも嫌な予感がする。このまま歯車が回れば 小沢、高島、そして田所組。こんな人数じゃ済まないんじゃないかと思っている。
Yeah, this aged well.
多分まだまだ多くの人間が死ぬ可能性がある。
これ以上の人間が死ぬ？いや、さすがにそれはないだろう。
普通ならそう思うよ。私は間宮拓司って人間をあまり知らない。ちょくちょく変な男が学校を徘徊してて、そいつの名前がそんなだった気がするぐらい。ただ話を聞くに放っておけない存在な気がする。実際さ、あの日以来私も確実におかしくなっているんだよ。
ヤスコ、お前最近大丈夫か？ひどく疲れている感じがするが。
Yeah, that's interesting. I suppose that's just the nature of the stress that is going up, and she really, really doesn't like the prophecy that is going on. I find it interesting that here with Takuji, the only reason she is actually intending on stopping him is because of the fact that she herself doesn't like the prophecy. She would set an entire I don't know, like, group of people just to stop somebody because of the fact that she doesn't like a prophecy. I mean, my god, I think if that doesn't indicate the amount of power that somebody like Yasuko has, I don't know what does. Yeah, something like a train of, not really a train of thought, but a train of being, or maybe a fate that you were going to be sucked into. So she wants to set a gang on Takuji, and yet at the same time we know that she has been totally, well, I mean, like she said, she's literally cut off a finger so that she could serve Takuji. I mean, what the fuck is that? How could Takuji have lost, how could their gang have lost, I wonder? Yeah, that's interesting.
できる限り攻撃的なやつを集めてくれない？仲間だけじゃなくていい。とりあえずこのふざけた雰囲気にムカついてるやつを集めて。
集めることはできるが、どこに？
旧プール脇。
Oh, interesting.
旧プール脇？あんな場所誰も来ないだろ。間宮拓司を呼び出しても、そんな人気のない場所に来るほど間抜けだとは思わないが。
逆よ。間宮拓司はいつも旧プールに足を運んでいる。
マジか。
理由はわからないけど間違いない。最初は部活で気がついたのだけど。
Oh, I see. That makes sense now.
旧プールに通じる道が見えるから。
旧プールに間宮拓司は来るのか？
おそらく1時間も待ってれば必ず姿を現すわ。その時にあいつの柄をさらう。そこで焼きを入れればくだらないことは言い出さないでしょ。
そうだが、だけれども間宮拓司の予言と関係。
That's an interesting possibility that they've never really thought of. It's just funny to think about the Kiyoshi. Kiyoshi is somebody who is normally rational, and he's not had anything that is godlike or impossible for human beings happen to him, and yet at the same time he still thinks this is a possibility. I mean, well, he still considers this possibility. I mean, if that doesn't show how powerful Takuji's words are, I don't know what does. That's really interesting.
それはない。誰もその言葉を口にしなければ門が開くことはない。精神の並びが奴らを連れてくるわけじゃない。そう信じる人々の思いが奴らと通じる道を作る。
She's using Ayana's philosophy here, if anything. Oh my god, no, the gate to Rulier, if anything. That could be what she's referencing there. But I never remember her hearing anything. I mean, she was talking about the old one, the great old ones, but nothing related to Rulier. So I suppose maybe you could just say in general, the gate towards death. Hmm.
難しいこと言うな。
難しいっていうか、頭がおかしなことよ。けど、今の私にはそう思えるの。
Yeah, delusions are only given form by the belief of a lot of people, and also, but obviously for the belief of a lot of people to be able to happen, things like these should occur. You should have multiple reasonably unrelated sources saying that the world is going to end.
だから、不安をばらまくマミやタクジをまず潰す。
Oh my god, it's Kotomi. And interesting that we have the more dark soundtrack here, even though Kotomi is here. It's really interesting, this. I mean, you do it just because you don't like Takuji, and I think it's really quite funny to think about the fact that Takuji and Tadokoro are remarkably similar. I just think this comparison is really quite interesting. We never really had a comparison like this in Tsubahibi before. But it is funny. I mean, if you look at Tsubahibi, you think of the most fearful people. And think of Tomosane Yuki. And then you think of Takuji. They are really fearful in different extremities. I mean, Yuki, like Tadokoro, is only fearful because of his violence. And obviously how he uses words in order to make him sound as threatening as possible, whereas Takuji is just reason. Yeah, and it's just so fucking weird. I really, really like stuff like this because it just makes me remember how weird and just out of this world it feels for Takuji to go from somebody who is so reserved, so quiet, and obviously traumatized to somebody who is, well, very, very capable of speaking and convincing people. I mean, it's insane because loads of people, they'd normally have so much experience to be able to even do public speaking. Never mind do public speaking, convince people of a certain truth and also completely manipulate their thoughts. It's hilarious, that line. But it's true, it's weird. Can I just mention, I find it funny that this is totally a lie. It's a symbol of violence that he's committed, fighting the Chinese mafia in Hong Kong. Yeah, sure thing. Dude, you were fucking powerless. You were nothing more than powerless, and it's all built on lies. It's funny that. I find it really interesting that she totally feels like getting a gang here. That's going to be really exciting to see. Oh, fuck. Oh, wait, nothing changed. Never mind. Just zoomed the game out by accident. Okay, anyway, this is going to be fun. Yeah.
あれ、琴美先輩？あ、やすこちゃん。こんなところにどうしたんですか？もしかして私に会いに来たくなったとかなんて。
I think it is so funny how different she sounds.
そうなのかもね。え、そうなんですか？ユキトが授業をサボってんね。先輩は本当に水上先輩のこと好きですね。そういうのじゃないよ。たださ。
世界が終わるってさ。
Jesus Christ, don't kill my ears.
マジか。
ここでも騒ぎになってるんだ。
Yep.
間宮拓司先輩って人が何かしたんですよね。うん、ちょっとね。暴力沙汰とか聞いてますよ、教師相手に。そんな感じ。
Isn't it funny that she literally experienced this? Well, I mean, Takuji was insanely rude to her. Of course, she doesn't really want to talk about this.
そんな不良がいたんですね。不良じゃないよ。そうなんでしょうね。
Yeah, somebody who's fucking insane rather than a delinquent.
なんか演説してたと聞いてますけど、学生運動的なやつでしたか？
Oh my god, isn't this funny just how fucking false she is to Kotomi? And I just think it's really interesting. This just totally feels like a psychopathic relationship, if anything. You just constantly lie and you're so dishonest just so that you can keep the relationship going. I mean, I find it interesting that what she does here is she acts clueless as a means of having conversation. And if anything, it's kind of like a detective interviewing a suspect. You're just trying to be as clueless as possible so that you can get as much of their story as possible.
そういうのじゃないよ。ということは、世界の終わり的なやつですか？うん、そういう感じ。
マジで世界が終わるんだからさ、勉強なんてしてても仕方がないだろ。
Well, yeah, the world will end inevitably. We need to study. We need our fucking grades, even if the world is going to end. Well, it's not going to end within our lifetimes. We hope. Oh god, I've brought Doomsday along. Time to become Mami. Yeah, fuck university. Let's just become Mami Attack. I can't believe I just said that. I don't think it's a very good idea to become Mamiya Takuji. Well, in the real world, if you became Mamiya Takuji, you'd be dead in a few days or you'd be going to prison for life.
単にお前が成績悪いから逃避してるだけだろ。
That line is so funny.
逃避じゃない事実だ。
こんなことに。なんかわりかし伝染力ありますね。
Yeah.
落下事故、飛び降り自殺。それらを救世主様が1999年7月20日につながるかのように演説をかました。今まで目立たない小道庵の間宮拓司先輩が
Yep. And isn't it quite funny to think about the fact that she deliberately doesn't mention anything regarding Tadokoro, and she keeps her life secret? I just think it's funny that the conversation I really feel we needed to see another perspective on, i.e. the conversation that was with Yasuko and Kotomi when we were seeing them in the changing rooms. That conversation there. We needed to see that in another perspective and we didn't get it. I don't really think we need to see this much in a different perspective. Actually, no, we do. No, I retract that. This is really beneficial, actually. It's not like Kotomi's chapter where there is literally no point, if you ask me, in showing some perspectives. I mean, the amount of repeated content in that chapter was insane.
Yasuko ちゃん知ってたんだ。知らない生徒なんていませんよ。あんな騒ぎですから。ならなんでそんなとぼけるような真似を？先輩って小沢先輩助けに来たことありましたよね。助けに来たこと？小沢先輩が繁華街の不良グループとつるみ始めた時。
Oh yeah, that's funny.
単独で連れ戻しに来た。
Now that makes sense, yeah.
なんでその話知ってるの？いえ、また聞きですよ。
Yeah, you're just sounding really, really shady there.
そんなこと知っている人いないと思ってたけど。数は問題じゃないと思うんです。そう師匠が教えてくれましたから。
Who is her mentor? What? She literally doesn't have a mentor that we know of.
師匠？近所のおじさんです。猛獣使いだったんですよ。
Oh, yeah, this makes sense. Dude, you are so full of shit! It's just unbelievable at this point. It's so cool, but it's so morbid, if anything. Wow.
そう、猛獣の扱いは力じゃないんです。そうじゃなきゃ、非力な人間が猛獣なんて扱えるわけがない。必ず殺されます。どういう意味かな？そのままの意味です。琴美先輩は私が憧れたぐらいだから、確かに猛獣ぐらいなら屈服させる覇気みたいなものはありますが。いやいや、猛獣なんて屈服できないよ。猛獣はさすがに比喩ですよ。まあそんな覇気があるという話です。覇気って、オーラみたいなやつ？そんな感じです。ただ時にはそんなの覆すみたいな突然変異が生まれたりすることがある。
Yeah, and I suppose you could think about the mutation. It's not the best analogy because I don't really get how No, wait, no, actually, no. Let's say somebody's in, I don't know, fucking Chernobyl or somewhere really radioactive. That means the external environment influences their internal environment because it causes radiation sickness and cancer. Or cancer. Or both. Maybe that's possible. I haven't actually researched if radiation sickness and cancer... Wait, I'm going to search that up now. I'm actually quite interested. Yeah. Okay, I didn't actually find anything. Let's just trust AI overview. Yes, it is possible to experience both radiation sickness and an increased risk of cancer from same radiation exposure. Though, there are distinct consequences. Well, I'm trying to say external environment influences the internal environment.
まさに突然変異として生まれるやつですね。それってもしかして拓司くんのこと？さあ、わかりません。私も半信半疑ではあるので。それでもあまり目をつけられないようにしてください。目をつけられるって世界は終わるのですから。そう、世界は終わるのですから、あなたは災いから逃れてください。それってどういう意味かな。
よし。
大体の状況は整った。あとは合流する時間だが。
わかった。あとさ。
Isn't that interesting that we totally see? Oh, if anything, this is Kotomi's indication for who Yasuko truly is and how she acts to her brother.
いきなり後ろ立つのやめてよ。先輩とか怖がるし。
Yeah, seriously, how fucking stupid are you? I know. Yeah.
今殴ったの？そんなことしてませんよ。
Yes, you
そんな
are.
ことするキャラじゃないですよ。
Yeah. Totally. Yep. Yeah, I agree. Especially because of the fact that the Tadokoro family are destroyed now.
そんなこんなで琴美先輩、くれぐれも深入りしないようにしてくださいね。どのぐらい集まりそう？
Yep, now everything is very, very difficult. I just find it so interesting. Why is Yasuko even doing this? Why should she care about Kotomi so much? But then I just find it so funny to think about the fact that, I mean, the only reason a conversation like this exists is just because of the fact that Yasuko wants... Oh, she just wants to protect Kotomi. She wants to protect the person that she admires. Even though it's just the case that I just feel like it's somebody who is so logical, who's just doing something out of instinct. And doesn't really know why she's doing it, if anything. I mean, so she wants to protect Kotomi, but at the same time, in order to protect her, like, she wants to protect her as a friend, but in order to protect her, she also wants to, well, I suppose she wants to break morals by completely lying to her and, well, being totally two-faced. But it's not only the fact that she wants to protect her because of the fact that she respects her, it's also because she wants to fuck her. I mean, I can't really put that any other way, it's kind of true. I think Kotomi's probably just taking a walk around in order to de-stress. No fucking way! But this is so interesting. I mean, yeah. I think this is false as well, funnily enough. She's just totally trying to get information from Kotomi. And I just think it's interesting that it's kind of... It feels like she's doing a good thing, but at the same... in protecting Kotomi, but at the same time she's also doing the worst thing she possibly could in order to protect her, which is completely lying to her face. I just find it funny that you totally distract the issue. And you also say, you also invent a false story based on a real story. So it sounds less false as a result. Yeah, somebody who has so much... Well, if anything, I mean Kotomi when she was with everything. Well, when she was with Yasuko's gang and she was trying to get Ozawa back, she really did feel like somebody who was so threatening that she could be a wild animal tamer. I suppose Yasuko is properly feeling admiration on that because obviously that means that she's somebody who doesn't need to use violence. She can just use aura and presences as a means of being able to completely scare somebody, and that's something that she could never do no matter how manipulative she was. So I think it's interesting. I think she talks to Kotomi desperately because she's traumatized from all of the, well no, it's tricky because I think she's traumatized from the first sexual encounters that she had. But then it's kind of become normalised and it's become meaningless with men, obviously, but with women it's kind of different because it's different gender. And she just wants to be able to enjoy something that has ruined her life so much, I suppose. Yeah, it's interesting, this. It's natural that because of a change in the external environment, meaning that everything is a lot more terrifying, you will become a lot more scared, and then the aura you will give off, like that of a wild animal tamer, will go because you are threatened yourself. You can't be the one who is threatening if you are threatened. Unless you are like Tadokoro and use violence as a means of hiding. You bark and you hide your insecurities. I agree, yeah.
とりあえずうちの仲間は半分
Oh
ぐらい参
shit.
加するようだ。
Wow.
それ以外の不良も数人集まるらしい。
So I find it very interesting that here it's a good indication that not everybody is happy about the rumours and not everybody is totally vulnerable to them. Yeah, but what's going to happen that's going to make it so that Yasuko and Kiyoshi are in Takuji's basement and they are completely dropping everything else they do in order to go there? It's weird. That rape of Kotomi, it really indicates that she genuinely believes the world is going to end. So I don't understand why. Is that just how convincing Takuji is?
うち以外ってどこ？
基本ギャンググループだが暴走族のメンバーも来るらしい。
バイクとかで来ないでしょうね。即刻警察呼ばれて終わるわよ。
Yeah, fair.
それは言ってある。
Good.
でもなんで呼んでもない連中まで来るわけ？
興味があるみたいだな。
興味って？
預言者が本物か偽物かってことと。
Yeah, that's interesting. That does make sense.
それってもし仮に本物だとそいつらが思ったらどうなるのよ。
Which they will.
それなら
They'll be manipulated. Yeah.
多分マミや拓司側につくんじゃないか。
はあ？バカじゃねえの？なんでそんなペテン師が本物かどうか確認するとか考えるのよ。
You have not seen how persuasive he is.
逆だよ。案外不良は純粋なやつが多い。
And fear as well. Look at what Kyokawa did.
思ったよりも多いらしい。
なんだその地獄。
ちなみに午後の授業中に集まる。
あと1時間後くらい。
そうだな。
じゃあその時間まで待機して。
That'll be exciting.
結構集まったな。
They've got half of that gang. It's interesting that they don't have the other half. I wonder why not all of the gang joined. Maybe they couldn't make it, or maybe they didn't care, or maybe they didn't feel like there was anything in it for them. Right. I was going to say, originally, let's see how the shit develops. Right. Oh my god, I know. What do they do if somebody sees them? Yeah. You can only see it from a few spots. Like, for example, your club. What if somebody has a club going on? That's not very good news. But yeah, I mean, let's hope that they are not seen, because that would be a lot more complicated for them.
Oi, あれ誰かいるぞどこから出てきてるんだあいつ
It's interesting that these people were titled as bullies. Yeah, makes sense. From the manhole. This is going to be so interesting.
あそこなら取り囲める。すぐに奴を取り囲んで。
Yeah, God, it doesn't surprise me. Wow, look at everybody here. So we have two shitheads on the left. We have Yasuko, who looks surprisingly scared. Oh wait, no. No, she looks more delirious, if anything. And we have Takuji, obviously, who looks like Takuji. Yeah, he sounds very scared.
俺たちか？俺たちやな。
Is he really strong like he was in Tsubahibi?
なんかてめえ、世界が終わるとかデマ流してるらしいじゃんかよ。あ
？What's he going to say? Oh God. God, that's awful. Jesus.
そうかい。なら鼻以外も血がドバドバ出やすい体質にしてみるか。
Takuji doesn't necessarily sound scared here.
血がドバドバね。
あ？
Oh my God! Wait, what?
今の。
What the fuck?
なんだ？
Yeah, I think it's. I think it's more likely they associated an image with the words. Hang on a second, is this really Lulu? Now it makes sense why she was totally turned over. The fuck? Oh, this is really weird. This took a turn I wasn't expecting. What am I looking at? I'm sorry, but if you're thinking about the fact that you could hallucinate something, I don't think you are. From stress and fear. That's actually really interesting because this reminds me a lot of everything that was going on about Ayana, if anything, her talk with the Great Old Ones. The fact that they are not existences unless they are accepted by humanity and they are talked about, and obviously their existence is promoted in the form of words. If they don't have form, they can't be believed, and they can't exist. The thing is, it's weird that human words translates to beings that have ridiculous powers.
今のあなたなら私が見えるんじゃないのかしら。私は魔法少女リルルだよ。
That's so weird. So, Riruru here is rather a Lovecraftian being. So, I wonder if you could genuinely ask the question if... No. No, but how deluded truly is Takuji here? Genuinely. Because Riruru was a being that Takuji created beforehand in order to help explain to him Zakudor's trauma, but... Zakudor's death and his grief from it, but... Yeah, what about here? Oh, do we have Riruru's character? Oh shit, we do! Nice! We've got a full set of characters here now. That's cool. I wonder if we're going to see the form of Riruru, or if Takuji is the only person who can see her form in human form. I wonder how Riruru is, how everything related to Riruru is going to change in Takuji's chapter.
なんでうつむくのかな。こっち見ようよ。私の姿ちゃんと見てみなよ。 リルルは妄想じゃないよ。あなたも心に銀の鍵が形成されつつあるんだね。
Oh, that's interesting. So you can open the gate to... let's just say the gate to Roulier to make life easier. I don't actually know if it's the case, but it would make sense in the context. Sure thing.
私が見え始めているということはあなたの脳細胞に私の因子が侵入し始めたということ。私は脳が作り上げる意識世界に侵入して実体化するの。
That's so interesting.
だから私をもっとよく見てよ。
Wait, hang on a second. Her voice sounds a lot more real now.
という2層からビット配列が変わるから。
Her voice sounds very familiar, if anything. It sounds like she has the same voice actor as Zakudor. Just like what Ayana was doing.
救世主救世主様救世主
ん
That's unusual. Oh.
大丈夫かヤスコ。
大丈夫。
Yeah, seriously.
救世主様、救世主様。
This was really not what I was expecting. I mean, it's interesting. Ah, yes, this was bullshit about the end of the world, and now, my god, this was really surprising. I like this. I mean, this implies that he's weak. It's actually really interesting just how hard it is to tell what everybody else has seen. And it is interesting to think about the fact that Yasuko it's as if Yasuko has seen a scene that she has only been told about, and it kind of adds to this theme of the fact that these people can only become real and invade other people's heads if they are given form by their thoughts. And it's as if their thoughts, just knowledge of what is actually happening, that it's as if that knowledge forms the silver gate that then unlocks the key to Rulia, and then that being that's within their subconscious can then kind of invade their motherfucking head, and then obviously they can well, a lot of bad things can happen as a result. I mean, it's interesting to think about the fact that Tadokoro's brain, it's as if it was eaten by Ayana in a way. I mean, that just properly shows the power of these things. And it's funny, this is the definition of mind control. Like, seriously, this is so unusual. It doesn't look like the woman, it looks like what you associate and what you imagine the woman to be. You can't fully tell what the woman is. You can't actually tell whether your association of what it is and the picture your brain has painted is like that of, I don't know, for example, another person. I don't know, the Kuen guy, the right-hand man of Tadokoro. If he was told the description, I'm sure he'd paint a different picture in his head. It's just dependent on the picture you paint. It's not an objectively accurate representation of it. That's kind of why I'm thinking that these things are associated, well, these people associate this with events that are very traumatic. And then what happens is the Lovecraftian being, no, actually, no. Let's be honest, these people are all gang members. So I wonder if they've all heard about the story. Well, no, not all of them have heard about the story with Tadokoro, because like Yasuko said, he just fought the Chinese mafia. Surely. No, but, yeah, so I don't know. I feel like everybody was just shown indications of unexplainable experiences that have happened in their lives, and then things that are related to the cause of said unexplainable experience come, and then because they're so terrified by what that cause is doing, when Takuji shifts his attention away and the being goes, it's as if he has saved them from the terror, so he is the saviour. That's such an unusual little twist that I wasn't really expecting, if I'm going to be honest. Well, I wasn't expecting it at all. It's interesting how this story, it really has the theme of totally diving into the supernatural a lot more than anything else. And there are no drugs involved here. This is just pure manipulation, if you like. It really is. Supernatural manipulation too. Exactly, yeah. Yeah.
ナイアーラとデップのこと知っているの？
Dude, this is not Zakuro's actor, VA. What the fuck are you thinking? This is Kimika's voice actor.
ナイアーラとデップのこと知っているの？
Right inside my head, that's hilarious. If you've ever heard of the Subete Anata no Sei this song, it reminds me of this. It's not exactly a pleasant sound inside your skull, but I don't know, I just think of that sort of like the song that's titled Full Stop, not any of the other ones. I don't know. If anybody's listened to that if anybody's gone down the lamprey hole or the Subeana rabbit hole, please like talk to me, because I'm really interested to learn more about it. And I have a history with that rabbit hole, so if anybody else does, I want to hear your story, really. It would be interesting. I used to listen to those songs all the time. Don't really listen to them much anymore though. They are actually really well made. I wonder when there will be a new one, or if there will be a new one. Wait, let me just check. Has a new one released? No, they haven't. The pleasant sound inside my brain. And then the next line is, a bone simply broke by itself, in English at least. A bone cannot break because the brain is not made out of bones. It is made of cells. Well, bones are made of cells. Well, it's made out of matter that isn't related to a bone because it's more meat related. Yeah, but that's really interesting. So it doesn't even matter how your image has been processed. As long as you have said image, it is going to manifest in reality. And it's interesting how she's not truly scared about the end of the world and she thinks it's bullshit. But the thing is, the Lovecraftian nature of it and the nature of the unknown, that is what scares her. So that obviously then in turn makes her believe the end of the world. That kind of makes sense. Don't really understand what she means by this. Imagine if they are all in a simulation. Isn't that interesting? So, what happens is, this is a total, you immerse yourself in the thoughts of the monster, and then, distraction, you have no thoughts. The amounts of thoughts of the monster are decreasing. Oh, boom. No monster. Isn't that interesting? What?
あの武闘派で恐れられた田所の偉い人？なんでそんな人がひざまずいているんだ？
Manipulation. Yeah. Is there another Tadokoro family or what? What? Yeah, seriously.
様お救いくださいませ。20日に迫り来る世界の終わりから救世主様。
Yeah, Jesus Christ, you can totally see how the Lovecraftian beings have manifested within his head. Yeah, this is worse than having his brain. Well, it's ironic that Ayana was saying that his brain had totally gone. You can see why. He's just a slave to Takuji now. Yeah, yeah, he's always been insane, but now he's deranged rather than evil. Yeah, because this is a person they think is so significant and powerful, and they are seeing him in the flesh. Somebody who has probably threatened their entire lives and who has torn everything they could want apart. And obviously somebody who you would never go to, well, you would never want to mess with. Now look at him. That's why it's so convincing. Takuji. Yeah.
それでこんな場所に集まって君たちはどうしたんだい？僕を殴りに来たってわけかい？
Can they really do so after seeing this? Yeah, 100%, yeah. And it's interesting how the Lovecraftian being's existence is very subjective. You know, it's a product of your own subconscious. Different people see different things, even though there is one objective being. It's so weird. No, or is there maybe multiple beings? Yeah, multiple beings who take the formation of multiple people's subconscious. This is subconsciouses. That's hilarious. I know, yeah, everybody's going to be manipulated, yeah.
一度離脱する。間宮拓司の動向を追って。
Interesting.
離脱？なぜだ？
これ多分最悪な事態になりかねない。できる限り琴美先輩に関わらせないようにする。
Gosh, you care about Kotomi more than your fucking brother.
この後に及んでもあいつなのか。
Yeah, exactly. It's ridiculous. And it's unbelievable.
うるせえな。私が琴美先輩は守りたいって言ったら守るんだよ。
わかったわかった。とりあえず間宮拓司に張り付いておくから。
This is gonna be exciting.
なんだから。
She's totally scared. She doesn't want to admit it, but that's why. Hmm.
早くしろ。
琴美先輩、目が曇っています。
Even this is a front. Wow. So she obviously exploits Takuji so that she can do this to Kotomi. Wow. Yeah, no. But what I find very interesting about this is she leaves. She doesn't even want to admit it, but she's terrified. And it's funny that she wants to go away from the source of the terror. But she never ever admits it, even to her own brother. She puts a front on. But also it's the case that she wants to help Kotomi. That's also another factor. It's just there's one strong factor that she deliberately doesn't mention. Yeah.
先輩はやはりそういう人ですよね。あれ、やすこちゃんどうしたの？今日は他校との試合だから。
Yeah, you really think she's gonna do that?
ダメなんだよ。
No, instead of doing your Kendall match, you're going to spend time with gangs that are really dodgy. Yeah. But that's the thing, she doesn't like this problem, so she prioritises everything, even her other social life. But then again, I mean, this is all a front, let's be honest here, she cares way more about her gang life.
Kotomi senpai, 20日に世界が終わるのにこんなことをやっていていいのでしょうか？やすこちゃん、何を突然なんてありません。これは世界が生まれた時から定められたことなのです。
I just think it's so funny to think about the fact that she doesn't genuinely believe this. She's talking complete nonsense herself.
そんなわけないよ。20日に世界が終わるなんてことはないし。
Yeah, exactly. Keep with that belief. You will not regret it.
いいえ、偽りに満ちたこの世界は終わってしまうんです。小富先輩はわからないんですか？やすこちゃん、何言っているの？20日に世界が終わるわけないじゃない。小富先輩は間違ってます。そんな心意気では本当の世界にはたどり着けませんよ。
She's clearly been told about the contents of the speech.
間宮くんが言っているのは嘘だよ。そんな言葉に振り回されちゃダメ。いいえ、違います。救世主様は間違ってません。違うの、間宮くんは。
God, I feel bad for her. She really sounds like she's tearing up.
小富先輩は間違ってます。水上先輩も。叩きましたね。ごめん。ユキとのことまで悪く言うから。いいえ、謝らなくて結構です。これで覚悟ができましたから。私、小富先輩を救います。
Oh my god, she really is doing that. I'm ready. I will save you. I will save you from Yukito. I will save you from anyone other than me. She really feels like a yandere type of personality. The only thing is, obviously, she hasn't killed anybody just yet.
そっけとか皆無だと思ってたんだけど。
Yeah,
好きな
God.
人相手だと違うもんなのかな。
Yeah, she's just a total psychopath. Yeah, and isn't it just so interesting how dishonest it is? You love Kotomi? My fucking ass, you love her. This is just so that she can gain feelings herself. Let's be honest, I mean, all of this is pleasure. You were literally trying to get somebody to fuck you, basically. All on the feelings of the fact... Wait, hang on a second. Let me just think about how I can word this. She's trying to get Kotomi to love her and accept her so much that she wants to have sex with her. But at the same time, I mean, that's clearly never going to happen considering how insanely dishonest Yasuko is. Yeah, Yasuko loves Kotomi. Is it reciprocated? No. And also, just look at how dishonest she is when trying to get this, and it's just insane to see her dishonesty. It's really cool. I won't deny, but it's insane as well. Yeah.
やっぱり私は若月琴美が好きなんだな。だからこんなことしてるのか。
Yeah, it does make sense that. But the only thing is, you don't love her, you just... Let's be honest, all of this I think it's just a response for trauma and also just in general. Like, she has really bad thoughts and she has a lot of trauma and she wants to find an outlet where she can just take out all of her stress. And it's funny that she feels a lot better when with Kotomi and she feels admiration. And if anything, she's just constantly addicted to feelings like those, and yeah, it's really quite ugly.
清は私は自分のためだけにしか動かない人間
You
だと思
do,
ってた
yeah.
らしいな。
I disagree that you are living for someone else here.
実際私もそう思ってた。
She lives for Kotomi for the sake of herself. I don't think she... Let's be honest, I feel like if she was damaged as a person, she wouldn't love Kotomi. No way.
とりあえずできる限り琴美先輩をこの事件に巻き込ませない。
Yeah, you've got to protect her. Oh, so they're down here. I'm actually quite surprised. That's a shame. I thought the feeling of discovery of a place like this would be something that would be essential to include. I'm quite sad that it's not been included. Right, here we go. I love the development of her feelings for Kotomi, and I just find it very interesting. I'm going to be honest. I think that if she had never been taken to that, that porn video recording place that Tadokoro had, I think she would never be doing this for Kotomi. No way. Well, no, she never would have continued doing this for Kotomi. She never would have been continuously lying to her face in the pretense of love. No way. I disagree with that. I think that just made her remember her trauma, and that trauma has influenced her. And just in general, how horrible her life is, it's really influenced all this. And love is just the way you can put it into words, I suppose. Yeah, reasonable.
間宮拓司の信者らしい。
So I wonder if these people are... I wonder what Kiyoshi is going to think when going here.
信者って何?
And I just find it really interesting that not all of the people here believe in what he is doing as well. I didn't get that impression from Tsubahibi.
間宮拓司は自らを救世主と名乗っているからな。
なんでこんな短期間に?
まあ、だいたいお前が見ていた通りの流れだよ。ヤクザの田所さんが間宮を救世主と呼んだことだ。
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Isn't it interesting that everything escalates, and that's unbelievable just how quickly news passes within gangs like these. It's insane. I mean, a good example was Tadokoro when he knew every single move Yasuko was going to make, and it was just fucking creepy, the lacking amount of privacy that was present.
としても。
さらに武井が死んでいた。
武井って？
まあお前は知らないだろうけど、小沢よりも小粒の不良だ。数日前に間宮からカツアゲしようとしていた。
God damn. So it's like Tomosane but real.
そいつがこの下水を降りた場所で死んでいた。
Wow. That was not what I was expecting.
また人が死んでいたの？
ああ。どっちにしろ間宮からは恐ろしげな圧を感じる。
I know, yeah, especially when you think about the Lovecraftian nature of this.
それとも何か特別な力なのかはわからないが。どちらにしても田所さんの件や武井の死がなくても逆らえない人間の方が多いだろう。
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's really overwhelming her. It's interesting.
で清は
信者になった。救世主に福音を授かると信者になれる。
Okay, that was not what I was expecting.
福音って何やるの？
いや、大したことはやらないよ。ただ救世主の前でひざまずいて名前を言って自分の罪を告白するんだ。ただそれだけだ。
まあ面通しみたいなもんかね。
とりあえずお前もここに出入りするなら救世主様の福音は受けておいた方がいいぞ。今はまだ甘いが。
Oh, totally. This will be a
集団はどんどん精鋭化するだろう。
lawless. Well, a lawless sex dungeon in a bit of time. Yeah, I'm assuming it could get very violent. So I find it interesting that Kiyoshi isn't totally brainwashed. Yeah, these people were just doing it in order to investigate. And they obviously need to appear normal.
だろうね。
It will, totally. Oh, I'm Shindikyo or something like that. Yeah, I'm Shindikyo. Arehu. So it's called Aleph as well. Yeah. Oh, Alm of Supreme Truth. God. Yeah, exactly. If anything, it was just going to try and... I suppose they were trying to distract what the police were investigating about, but at the same time, they're still going to have something in order to arrest them with. What the fuck is the point? That's so weird. I don't get these people's logic. Yeah. What does she exactly mean by radicalized? that's hilarious. Yeah, so adopt radical positions on political or social issues. Yeah, and to shift a person or group's opinions towards a certain end of the political spectrum. That does make sense. Yeah. Sounds like Takuji in a way. Exactly, yeah. Isn't that ironic when considering the context of Tsubahibi? Yep. Good. Or have they?
お前、田所組長と最後に会ってた女
Oh
だな。
shit.
あなたは
クエンだ。田所組の杯をもら
Oh
っている。
shit.
クエン。あなたグエンさんって人？田所さんの昔からの部下で右腕って言われている。まさかこんな子に及んで私にけじめつけさせるためにここに。
なわけねえだろ。田所組長があんななっちまったからな。
Yeah.
どんなになっても親を守るのがこの務めだ。
What is with this capitalization?
そうですか。それよかった。というか、田所組はどうなるんですか？
そもそも組長入れても構成員5人の小さな団体だ。そのうち組長はあれで組員2人が意識不明のまま。
じゃあまともに動けるのはクエンさんともう一人ぐらいか。
兄弟には杉宮組の詫びに行ってもらっている。
それ指なくなるやつじゃないんですか？
どうだろうな。まあ指だったら組員全員ってのが筋だろ
う。ヤクザって大変ですね。
Seriously?
俺からしたらこんな場所まで首を突っ込んでいるお前の方がよっぽど大変そうだが、なんでお前はこんなことに付き合うんだ？
付き合うっていうか、もうほぼ巻き込まれてるみたいな感じで。
You want to protect the person that you love? That's not going to cut it in situations like these.
間宮拓司ってやつ。あれ多分普通じゃねえぞ。よくわからねえが、あいつに睨まれたら、この俺ですら動けなかった。
That's seriously impressive. So somebody who's a terrifying mafia guy, he can be stared at by Takuji, a scrawny, tiny kid compared to him, probably. He's really tall, I'd assume. Probably very muscly. And yet he still feels as if he wouldn't be able to move.
それ多分間宮拓司というか、あいつの背後にいるやつのせいだと思いますよ。
背後のやつ。
そっか、他の人には見えないのか。というか、多分ちゃんと見えたら脳を食われるんだと思います。
ちゃんと見たら脳を食う。
そんなこと言ってました。その
脳が生み
そんなこと言ってました。その化け物が。
脳が生み出す関連的なものを実在させるか。
Yeah, that's exactly what
何です
happens,
か
yeah.
その言い方、何か知っているのですか？
知識そのものは俺も香港時代に聞かされただけだ。空論城塞に来た化け物が何であるか。
私も少し聞きました。田所さんの目を奪ったやつですよね。大勢の人間が射精しながら死んでたって話ぐらいしか聞いてないのですけど、クエンさんは何か知ってるのですか？
もともとは砂漠の石像の下で見つけた女らしい。顔のない黒い像でな。
What?
かなり古い神の像だって話だ。
That was not what we were told.
名前とかあるのですか？
ナイアーラトテップと中国マフィアの連中は言っていたな。
ナイアーラ。
Yep.
それエジプトっぽい名前ですね。
ああ、だがエジプトのどの神よりも古い神だって言われているらしい。ナイアーラトテップという名も人間がつけたものであって、それ以前では違った音で呼ばれて信仰されていたらしい。
違った音？
人間以前の知的生命体が出す音だな。
何ですかそれ。まるで人間が信仰する以前からいた神みたいな言い方ですね。
実際にそう信じられている。
それ絶対嘘のやつじゃないですか。
俺もそう思ってたよ。だが
Oh my god,
親
he
父
even
が
believes it.
あんななっちまったらな。
確かにそのナイなんとかホテップと音無し綾菜は似たようなことやったみたいですけど、音無し綾菜は自分はそんな名ではないって言ってましたよ。
だから名前なんてどうでもいいんだよ。そもそも顔がない神なんだ。顔もなく名前もない。それがナヤーラトテップって化け物だよ。
クエンさん、そんなやつ信じているんですか？
お前は直に見たんじゃないのか。さっきそれらしいこと言ってただろう。マミや拓司の後ろに何かいるって。
ぼんやりではありますけど。
だったらなぜ信じない？
いや、普通に考えて幻覚とか薬物とかそういう風に考えた方がマシじゃないですか。
She's not been taking drugs though. What?
そうか。お前はまだ至ってないということか。
至ってない？
俺は親父と運命を共にするためにここに来た。その親父が対の空に至ろうとしているんだ。
By the way, is this guy Minakami Toshio's voice actor?
俺は対の空からその先の世界に至る。
Yeah.
俺もここに来るまで半信半疑だったが、マミ
Yeah,
や
that's
拓司、
interesting.
いや救世主様を見て気持ちが変わった。あれは本物の救世主だ。
そうかもしれませんね。
Don't say that. Yeah, exactly. No, I agree. Yeah.
おい、救世主様が呼んでいるぞ。お前の福音の番だっ
Oh
て。
my fucking god.
はい、救世主様、よろしくお願いいたします。
Yes. Dude. Oh my god, this ages so unbelievably badly. Oh god. Oh, that's not what I was expecting. I was okay. We didn't see her do the gospel then. Yeah.
単にやたらでかい土台じゃないか。
Yeah.
簡単に外は出させてもらえるんだな。
So she didn't do the gospel oh, she did. Interesting. But what about when she cuts her finger off? When's that going to be seen, I wonder?
誰かあの場所をばらすんじゃないのか？
Or will they?
音無し綾菜が田所組を壊滅させたのを見ていた。奴はまるで幻覚を見ただけみたいな言い方をしていたけど、 私奴にすでに頭食われているんじゃないんだろうか。それ
Fair, yeah.
実在してるのか。いや、そもそもその前提がおかしいのかも。
Yeah, you can't ever have an answer. It's not something known. Yeah.
説明することができない。幻覚か現実であるかすら、ある意味でもうすでに意味がないのかもしれない。
I can see that even if it was a hallucination. No, even if it was reality, it doesn't matter. Even if it was a hallucination, sorry. It doesn't matter because it's as if it was in reality and the effects have happened as if it was something that was real.
剣道部の横山じゃないか。
Oh shit. This is going to be interesting. Yeah, no, I see that. And I just think it's so funny how well she's doing at having fronts here. Yeah, of course he wouldn't. Kiyoshi would, but nobody else.
お前、コトミたちと他校との合同練習に行ったんじゃなかったのか。
そうでしたね。
なんでお前はこんなところにいるんだ？
Fair enough, but obviously Yukito's reasoning is also fine. Yeah, fair enough. He doesn't necessarily know about that, but still. He is, yeah.
それよりもお聞きしたいのですが、水上先輩はまだ嘘だと思っているのでしょうか。
Another test.
何の話だ？
世界が終わるって話ですよ。
Yeah.
世界が終わる？何言ってるんだお前。
なるほどね。先輩はまだ20日に世界が終わるって信じていないのですね。
信じるも何もありえないし。
Yeah.
ありえないって何ですか？
え？
朝太陽が東から昇って西に沈みます。明日の朝にナメック星が北から昇って西に沈むことはないのですか？それはなぜそう思えるのですか？自然はデタラメには動かない。必ず秩序を持っている。それはどのようにして確約されるのでしょうか？
Isn't this twisted logic hilarious? Isn't that ironic? But it's surprisingly relevant to what Yukito's been thinking about the uniformity principle and also inductive reasoning and that paradox. So of course this will resonate to him. That's hilarious.
いきなりそんなこと言われると思わなかったが、もし仮に朝太陽が東から昇って西に沈むという確実性の証明が循環論法になっていようが、だとして明日ナメック星が昇ってくるよりははるかに確率は高い。蓋然性の高さが全く違う。
Yeah. Oh, okay, so circular reasoning is if A then B, if B then A. That's unusual. That's interesting. So the implication of an assumption is the conclusion. That's actually really interesting. So it relies on an argument relies on its own conclusion in order to support its evidence. Like, for example, if you say that I am reading this visual novel because this visual novel is being read by me. I don't know, it just feels like you use circular reasoning to assume that nature is going to progress because of the fact that it has already progressed in that certain way in the past, really. Yeah. Yeah, fair enough.
人の心が絡むことにおいても自然の一応性原理は当てはまるのですか？
What is it, Daruma doll? Oh god, this is creepy. That's what it looks like.
絶対に起きない確率の出来事でも人が介在することで当たり前のように起きてしまうなどごく普通なことではないのですか？
それはそうだが、だとしても世界が滅亡するなということが人の気分に左右されるとは思わないが。
Yeah. Yeah, totally, yeah.
なるほど、よくわかりました。
何がわかったんだ？
琴美先輩も水上先輩も見誤っている。だからあなたには琴美先輩は救えない。
救うってなんだ？
Interesting. Oh yeah, that's really interesting. No, that actually makes sense, yeah. Unusual. Oh boy. Here we go. This is going to be really quite interesting. We're going to pick up tomorrow with this because I'm getting a bit burnt out now. The fuck? What? What the hell? Oh my god. This is her.
まさか自分から乗り込む。
まあ少しは予想していたよ。
志願しておいて。
本当はきっと。
どうするんだ？
She comes barging in like that. Wow. That was never something I'd expect. Damn. That really took a turn. Oh wow, I'm excited to read tomorrow. Oh god, I really didn't expect her to actually... Well, I mean, obviously she found everything that Takuji was doing and she wanted to stop it, but god, how brutal what Yasuko has done. So it was a really interesting chapter, and what I liked was the fact that... Not chapter, sorry, episode, because we really saw the division between the real world and the supernatural, and we saw so many surprising occurrences where the strength of Takuji's manipulation combined with the supernatural can get people who people who have been dealing with manipulation their whole life, i.e. Kuen, literal mafia members, and yet at the same time they can still be manipulated, and it's so weird. But Yeah, my god, I think the most valuable thing today was just to see the ridiculous extent of how... What, Yasuko's feelings towards Kotomi, sure, that's really important, but also just to see the amount she has fronts for people, that was really, really beneficial today. That was very fun. I think I love the part with Ridudu. That was really, really unusual, and just in general, seeing her total disconnect from the cult. I mean, I always thought that she would be disconnected, but I didn't realize it was going to be this cool. I'm excited to see what happens after this. I really am, because I'm sure there's going to be a big personality change when Yasuko, well, becomes the person that everybody has sex with, really. I just wonder why she does that, and why does she swear to cut her finger off? Is it all so that Kotomi can be protected? And if I'm going to be honest, I think the answer is yes. So it's going to be quite nice to see how this chapter begins to end. See you guys next time.